Hello again there, everybody. This is going to be Jund League number 74. Same list as 73 because I like it a lot. I mentioned at the end of last video after a solid record that the list just feels really smooth, and there wasn't really any outlying thing that I could really pick out that I wanted to change. It all just felt really good, and I'm going to run it back. The sideboard, also similarly with the main deck, it felt really good last league. And as you'll see in this metagame snapshot, Jund Death Shadow had, after its quick vacation at number 1, is back on to number 2. Healy Odd Company taking its place right on back. Tron moving all the way up to number 3, and Amulet Titan all the way up to 4. So with these two decks being so huge, I definitely think it's pretty important to be packing at least some amount of land hate in the sideboard. And I've got 6 copies of Land Hate, not including the Boil, and 3 Damping Sphere, and 3 Cleansing Wildfire. And then the rest of the top 15 is your standard offenders. We've still got Blue-White / Blue-White X Control, D&T, and our hero Jund here at 8th. And then we've got Hammer Time, Blitz, and, well, you can read. So here's what the rest of the format's looking like. Overall, would like to avoid Tron, would like to avoid Eldrazi Tron, and would like to avoid Dredge. Other than those 3, I feel pretty good about what our deck is looking like for this field. Good evening, Drop Dojina. Hope your day is going well. Let's just go ahead and jump into the league. Chaos, subbed at tier 1 for the 7th month. I appreciate your ongoing support. I do. I don't know that we're back to regularly scheduled broadcasts, but I actually am looking to figure out a legitimate stream schedule, so that's exciting. The way that my work schedule, like my actual physical job, is turning out, it looks like I'm going to have Mondays and Tuesdays free. So what I'll probably do is plan on a stream Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so 3 days in a row. And then you probably on one of those 3 days I'll end up doing like more than one recording. And then I can stagger the uploads. So I'll have between 4 and 5 leagues getting posted every week. And most of them will be played Sunday through Tuesday on stream. Drop Dojena also subbed with Prime. Wow, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. 2 subs and we haven't even been recording for more than 3 minutes. It's gotta be my record. I appreciate all of the support. I do. Ooh, I got my first hype train notification. If one more person subs, gifts, or uses bits in 3 minutes, something happens. I don't know what that is. Yeah, we've got a keeper. I would love for this to get, I guess, Blood Crypt. I can Fetch Shock on 1, and then on turn 2 I have the option of bolting or playing Bob. Playing Bob off of Peatland, assuming a Fetch Shock Thoughtseize, means I'm going to be to 14 already, which is pretty quick. Don't think I get mulligan this, though. Let's just see what the opponent does since they're on the play. Oops. Alright, so Scalding Tarn. Maybe this is the trick you were playing Burn, Scalding Tarn, bolt you and stuff. That'd be brutal. I mean, it's kind of hard to not just cast Thoughtseize here. It'll be unfortunate if they are playing Burn, but I mean, Blood Crypt is what casts Lightning Bolt on turn 2. So I'm going to Lava Axe myself and hope to not stare down a bunch of Burn spells. This mana is being painful. Alright, so let's get the Blood Crypts. I would love to just get the Swamp here. I could still Bob on turn 2, but then I can't cast my Bolt if I need to do that. So let's do this and really hope we don't get unlucky. All right, sweet. This is much better. They're playing Burst Lightning. That's strange. They also have Spell Snare. Man, this hand is fairly annoying. Unfortunately, both Burst Lightning and Spell Snare deal with my Dark Confidant. I think I'm just gonna take the Spell Snare because it's looking like Tarmogoyf is gonna be a fairly sticky threat in this matchup. I don't have one yet, but Burst Lightning definitely not gonna answer it, whereas Spell Snare will, and Spell Snare answers Dark Confidant anyway. There's a pretty good argument for just taking the Burst Lightning because it's more tempo positive for me. The opponent would have to like hold up Spell Snare, meaning they can't use that mana for as long as they're wanting to counter something, whereas Burst Lightning they can do it on like future turns. Like if I can tap out for a Bob, they could just untap and Burst Lightning it. Like they don't have to hold up the mana. So if I'm trying to make a more tempo positive play, maybe I just take the Burst Lightning. But to better leverage Tarmogoyfs, and just really anything that costs 2, I think Snare is a better take. Alright, and then I fully expect this to get Burst Lightning, so maybe I just play Kroxa now. They'll easily remand it, but it's better than just throwing this out into when I know it's going to die. Hey, Snapcatster with the 100 bits. Like, that officially means I got my first hype train. I don't know what that actually does. But it says, you have a limited time to earn exclusive emotes. I don't know how to redeem that. Alright, there goes the Burst Lightning. Alright, Island was used. Alright, and they opted, and I guess just did not hit a land. They're going to get to remand me here, which will be annoying. If I draw a land, I was going to say I could just use Kolaghan's command. They're missing lands too. I really don't see a reason to let them remand me here. Like, I'm missing land drops, but so are they, so I don't think letting them dig to it is really going to be helping me out. Like, I would love to be able to just draw a land and eventually just start Kolaghan's commanding at end step. Alright, it's getting a little rougher. I think now I'll jam. I think the difference between last turn and this turn is that the opponent now has lots of cards in their hand. Like, before they only had like 2 or 3. But now if they hit their land first, they're going to be so ahead on tapping with all of their counter spells. I think there was a good 1-turn window where waiting was good. I mean, I've got lots of removal spells for these. Lands? Not quite. I mean, I can Thoughtseize and have Fatal Push. That has me going to 9. They're playing lots of burn spells, apparently, so I'm a little concerned. Don't think I'm tapping out for a Bob here. I need to, like, answer their threats. I don't think this is going to be a Bob game, unfortunately. And then, I guess, do I want to cast Lightning Bolt through Fatal Push? I'm assuming they're playing stuff like Storming Entity, so I might need the Bolt to kill that. So I guess that means I'm using the Fatal Push, so I can lead on Thoughtseize because I'll have the Peatland for the push if I do decide to cast it. Alright, they've got lots of burn Dreadhorde Arcanist. Alright, well, I've got removal for the other threat. I mean, I'm going to be going to 9 here. Maybe I just take a Bolt because I am pretty low. Yeah, it doesn't feel great to have to take a Lightning Bolt here, but I think it's the take. And they have Logic Knot, so I'll do this now. Pretty strange game so far. Alright, so now they've got Archmage's Strum available. Lands, please. Not quite. I wonder if they're playing Blood Moon as well. That means maybe not. They shocked, though? They have like a click or something? I haven't seen click in a while. Maybe they're just drawing 2. Yep. Yep. So we know that the opponent has a Logic Knot. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for a terminate at end step. This has me losing a life, but I'm hoping they're going to logic knot it. And then I'll have the bolt for later. I think if it's between which spell I want to use now, I'll just use the more expensive one. So I'll have the cheaper one for later. And I am stuck on mana, so I think it's probably better to keep the cheaper ones. Counter for 1, probably. Yep, so now I can bolt the Arcanist, but I would really like to find like Goyfs or something. I need threats and lands. Well, that's not exactly the threat I was hoping for. This is a lot how my last league started off, isn't it? Mana situation not looking great. I mean, Force was the one card we didn't know about. They needed Force and the blue card, but had I waited for their turn, they could have just hard cast it. So I don't think there's actually a good window to do this here. And there's the land. Is it too little, too late? Kolaghan's Command does not kill a Arcanist, unfortunately. They've got Bolt in hand. Yeah, we're just dead here. This land was about 6 turns too late. Alright, Prowess. Or something. Dreadhorde Arcanist control. I'll play Nile Spellbomb. Brutality is probably going to be good. If the opponent is playing Blood Moon, Cleansing Wildfire is a way to get out from under it. They're definitely playing lots of islands. Let's cut the Bobs. They're playing lots of red removal spells, and they're apparently an aggro deck. I like cutting the Thoughtseizes again. They're pretty much an aggro deck. We don't know that they're playing Cryptic, but it's pretty likely they are. So maybe I do want to just keep the Thoughtseizes, but at a minimum I'm going to keep the Inquisitions. If Cryptic ever becomes super worrisome, I hopefully can find the Brutality to take it with the Duress mode. I'm going to cut a Bloodbraid off of the top. I don't want my curve to get too inverted. And these Kolaghan's Commands don't actually kill a whole lot, so I think trimming 2 of them is probably pretty safe. So, if we can find another land, this hand is actually the nuts. The issue is if we brick on the land, we kind of sputter out. I mean, we've got 2 things we could cast. There are 22 lands in the deck. There's going to be 21 when I fetch one of these out. So it'll be like, what, 21 out of 52? It's like 40%. 40%. The thing is, if I hit the 40%er, I don't even necessarily just win. I'll have a pretty good chance. I think I'm gonna mulligan, but like if I knew I could hit a land here, I would definitely keep. This is better. I'll bottom the Kolaghan's Command here, I think. It's probably the card that does the least for the most mana. And I do think I should just cast Inquisition on turn 1 as opposed to playing Ravine. The opponent might be playing Blood Moon, so that's an argument for just getting a basic Swamp. I think I will. So they've got Arcanist, Sprite Dragon. Given my lack of actual removal, I think I should take threats here. The opponent doesn't actually have any spells to combo Arcanist with. As soon as they find one, they're going to be very good, though. But given that they've got 2, I think I'll just take the unique thing. Alright, Ravine, go. Alright, so Island, Arcanist. These are all things that were expected. Land. Sick. Alright, so now I can cast my Tarmogoyf and Bolt the Arcanist. And they're playing counter spells. So I'm just going to do it all now. I guess I want to Lightning Bolt first, because if they've got Force of Negation, I want them to pitch without the information that I'm casting Tarmogoyf. Alright, they didn't. Cool. Another Sprite. Annoying. This is Steam Invincible they played. Right, luckily, it's only hitting for 1 here. Glyph's a 4/5. It's pretty big. Land would mean Bloodbraid. Kolaghan's Command's a good one, too. And I do think I want to just do it now. Small chance we grow the Glyph. And I definitely want to do it before they can cast counter spells. Oops. Oh, I guess I have black here. They could have Force, they could have Mutagenic Growth. They probably do play Mutagenic Growth because it's a sweet little combo with Arcanist, right? Flash something back that costs 3 like an Archmage's Charm. Alright, and we did not grow the Goyf, but we still get to smack for 4. Doing okay. Shock. Interesting. Arcanist. Still nothing to combo it with. Ooh, that's a good one. The opponent might have Spell Pierce. In the event it does get countered via not a Force of Negation, I think I'll cast it first, because if it does get countered and go to the yard, my Goyf will grow. They could have like a Spell Pierce, which would be the one thing we don't know about. I guess there's 2 things we don't know about. So I didn't cross out that second Arcanist. Sick. And I definitely don't want to risk the opponent like finding a bolt to kill the Goyf. Vapor Snag's interesting. I also don't want them finding like an opt to cast twice. So I think just getting this Liliana edicting to get their thing out of the way is good. This is looking good. They're on the back foot. Leak looks a lot worse when we've already got 2 pretty impactful permanents in play. Here's Arcanist, yeah. So this Arcanist could Vapor Snag me next turn, which may be a dangerous combo with the Leak. It'll be hard to maybe resolve the Goyf on the way back down. Land's pretty great, though, because now we get to cast Bloodbraid for 2 sources of pressure, and we're really hoping to find, I guess, any additional source of pressure or a kill spell, which is basically everything. I don't think there's a single card in the deck that I really don't want to hit right now. I guess maybe Brutality is the one. Do I want to shock here? If their opponent is playing Blood Moon, which I think is likely, I'll want to get other Swamp here. That only leaves me with 1 green, though, which means I can't activate Ravine if that's a line that I need to take when the opponent is holding up counters. So I think shocking is probably worth it here, just so I have an extra green. Like if I draw a land that isn't green, I'm going to want to be able to activate the Ravine. Alright, so any removal, any extra creature, Cleansing Wildfire. Not exactly. I mean, it does just draw a card. I guess now I could play around the moon, but I mean, if I get a forest, I can't actually escape Kroxa. Maybe I just hit their island. Sure. Not great. So I guess I lied. Maybe Wildfire was another card I didn't really want to hit. Alright, we got to attack both. And importantly, if they Vapor Snag on a Dreadhorde Arcanist attack, we've still got a lethal threat in play. So they can't make the attack unless they are sure they can deal with the other thing. And then they're at 1, so they're going to have to keep a spell in hand at least at all times. Lower that, please. Alright, here comes the snag. So they've got a Leak and 2 unknowns. Serum Visions went bottom bottom. Bolt makes it a lot easier. I mean, I'm gonna attack first. The opponent's gotta act, or else they just die. They could have Force of Negation, but it would have to be their last. It would have to be their last card that I don't know about, and then they would have to go down to 0 card, which means Kroxa would just kill them. So I can pretty safely just throw the Bolt upstairs here, and that should be the W. Alright, they actually do have the Force. Luckily, it just isn't gonna matter. Because again, we've got their Kroxa. Alright, so their opponent's deck is pretty sweet. I think I like how I've got it configured. Plague Engineer could actually be cute. We could name Dreadhorde Arcanist or whatever the type is and make it an O2 so it can't flash anything back. But it does also just die to all of their removal. I mean, we could also name whatever Sprite Dragon is, so that way we can preemptively kill them, or even if they haven't cast a spell, we can kill it that way too. It seems a little cute. If I were to bring it in, I think it'd probably be for Wildfire, but I think I like Wildfire still just as a hedge to Blood Moon, and as a worst case, it still just cycles. I think everything else is on average going to be better. Maybe on the draw, there's reason to take out Liliana. I could definitely see that being a consideration. The opponent might not be playing Stormwing. I do want Liliana's 4 Stormwings. But an Engineer could have some pretty cool usage, and if we do get Blood Moon, double black could be a liability, whereas single black is a lot easier. I still think 3 Lilianas is good. I don't think I'm going to go lower than 3. This 1/1 swap seems acceptable. We had to be on the draw, though, which is definitely bad. We've got a Keeper. Again, a similar awkward mana situation, but I don't think I can ship this ever. We get to go Blood Crypt on 1 to cast Inquisition. If we're super concerned about Blood Moon, maybe I get basic Swamp. Top and bottom with the Serum Visions. Another land would be a good draw here, because then I can know what to get with Verdant. This is looking a lot like my first game's hand. Alright, well, if they've got the Blood Moon, I suppose I'll take it. And then ideally not get forced if I'm trying to take it. Let's say yes. I wonder if they're actually thinking about forcing this. If they force it, it's to protect the Blood Moon. Alright, they don't have it. Alright, they do actually have the Spell Pierce, so something to know about. I'm not taking Charm, I'm not taking Burst Lightning, I'm not taking Pierce. It's definitely between one of these 2 threats. I guess if I take Sprite Dragon, that's 1 life that I haven't lost. Because Sprite Dragon's got haste, I can just play the Nurturing Peelant and then bolt the non-hasty Dreadhorde. So I guess I'll do that, because I'm basically gaining a life by taking the hasty thing. Going to need to find lands, but the way my opponent's hand is set up, if I don't get Blood Moon and I can find lands, I think I'll be a pretty big favorite. Like, we have 1 more turn where we're allowed to brick, but after that I'm going to really want to find it. Land? It's a redraw. It gets Spell Pierced. I don't know that they would actually want to Spell Pierce it, though. This is looking just like a fine Kroxa turn. Just have the opponent discard a card here. Really would like to find the land. Don't know what the shock could indicate other than a remand, but they didn't cast a remand. Maybe they're just trying to hold up Burst Lightning and Spell Pierce. Or maybe they're trying to play Arcanist with the Spell Pierce protection. Looks like that's the case. So I would really like to find the land here, because then I can bolt the Arcanist and pay for Spell Pierce, and then if they don't Spell Pierce me, I can recast a Kroxa. So big draw step. I mean, that kind of works. They're in theory going to Spell Pierce this, and then I can bolt the Dreadhorde Arcanist. So while it's not a land, it's probably my next best thing. Alright, there goes the Spell Pierce. I guess we'll just do this in response for no particular reason. Will not pay, no. Alright. Come on, lands. Some more Kroxas. I mean, I guess I'm just going to continue having the opponent discard a card at a time. Sure. Unlucky draws, unfortunately. The Inquisition was nice, but I still would have much preferred a land. Still would love a land. Land, 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 land. Damn it. I guess I'm Kroxaing. This is gonna get old real fast. Alright, well, it resolved this time. There goes a force, okay. I could just cast Cleansing Wildfire in an attempt to redraw. Uh-oh. There it is. I mean, they've got the Burst Lightning for the Plague Engineer, unfortunately. So they've got Serum Visions in the yard to start flashing back. This is looking not great. I really needed to find the stupid lands, and we got one 6 turns later, unfortunately. I mean, definitely playing it. What's the other play though here? I don't think Kroxa's gonna do enough. I think what I'm gonna try to do here is get a basic swamp with the Mire as a hedge versus Blood Moon, and then I'll probably just Cleansing Wildfire in an attempt to find a removal spell for this Arcanist. There are 3 pushes and 3 bolts in the deck. Although getting basic swamp is pretty awkward because I actually need a red source, don't I, to Wildfire and be able to hold up the Blood Crypt. So yeah, I guess I'll get basic mountain and Wildfire. I can't get basic forest because I need to be maybe escaping Kroxa as a way to win. So let's just get the basic mountain. And then Wildfire, I guess an island. And then I want to hold up Bolt or Push, so I'll take the mini gamble and pay the life here. Would really love a Bolt or a Push. Bolt or a Push would be the best case. I mean, Inquisition is a card I can cast. They've got Bolt, Leak, Burst Lightning. Well, I guess I'll take the Leak. So whatever I get to cast actually resolves, hopefully. I mean, Kroxa is going to be pretty large. They could double bolt it by casting Bolt from hand and then flashing it back. They're just going straight for the face, it looks like, though. So their last card is Bolt. They're going to get to Serum Visions here, though. I mean, if I can find an answer for this Arcanist, the opponent is kind of stopped in their tracks short of their burn spells. Bottom top with that. We're not just dead next turn. Ooh, Delver is interesting. We can Kolaghan's Command that. We could also just cast the Plague Engineer. We get like cast Plague Engineer named Human. This is a Human Wizard, Zombie Wizard. So I can't actually name Wizard. That would force the Bolt. I think that's the plan. I would have to go to 7 here. I mean, if the Bolt gets forced here, I'm not just dead, which is definitely attractive. So let's name Wizard. So I'm going to assume this is going to take the Bolt. And they did scry top bottom, so it's completely possible they found another burn spell and I'm just dead. They're hitting me for 4, so another Bolt does it. Hopefully they just like get a Serum Visions back or something. Yeah. Alright, so I'm not just dead next turn. They attack for 1, can flashback Burst Lightning, so I guess I have to put a blocker in front of this somehow. Brutal. So if I escape a Kroxa, I go to 2. And then the Burst Lightning kills me. So I think I have to make the Hail Mary of Bloodbraid, hope to kill the thing. I think that's where I'm at, unfortunately. These draws have just been a tad too awkward. Need a removal spell. Tarmogoyf, that is not going to do it. Yeah, these draws were a little awkward, unfortunately. I mean, missing land 3 for 2 games definitely hurts. Yeah, you didn't need that to kill me, but it does kill me. Bummer. Yeah, I mean, I think if we hit the land, we're very ahead. We just did not hit it. The Kolaghan's command that I only kept in 1 Kolaghan's command. We had it in hand and it looked silly. So I mean, maybe that was a sideboarding error, but there weren't really a whole lot of other things that I was super excited about bringing in. Like, I brought in pretty much all of my stuff that I would actually want, which is these 6, and I brought in 2 Wildfires and an Engineer. That's a lot of stuff. Boil as well. The opponent rolled a 1, but we expertly rolled a 6. They've revealed a Lurrus. We're on the play. On the play, I'm inclined to keep this, even though they are playing Lurrus and I've got a Bob. Like, this could very easily be Hammer Time or Shadow, and the hand's just fine versus both of those. Less good versus Shadow than versus Hammer. Best case, this is Hammer, because then this Bob is insane. And I'll go Blackleaf Cliffs on 1 in case I want to cast this Bolt. They mulliganed. Mulliganed again. Hopefully that means they're Hammer Time. Combo, I guess, would be inclined to mulligan more aggressively for the combo pieces. I doubt they're burn. Still could very easily be Shadow. Hoping it's Hammer. Looking like Shadow. Alright, we can bolt this. I think I'm actually going to do it at my end step, because if they have Mutagenic Growth, not only will they save their creature, but they'll also be doing 3 additional points of damage to me. If this were a push, I'd snap it off right now. But since it's a bolt, I'm going to wait. Come on. There we go. I still hope they don't have it. Okay, good. Ooh, Liliana is really, really strong. Let's play Swamp, Dark, Rob Vidant. Bob, really excellent versus Shadow, assuming no Lava Darts. And I don't think they play Lava Dart. It's more just a prowess thing. Bummer. Shock and pass, huh? Alright, well, given the presence of this Kroxa, I actually don't think I want to play this Forest ever. I definitely want to use Wooded Foothills because it's another card in my graveyard. So I think what I'm going to do here is use the Wooded Foothills to get a Stomping Grounds. I can then play Liliana and plus it. I definitely want this to get green, given that I'm going to discard my basic forest at some point. Or wait, that point's probably now. I already have double black for the Liliana. This Liliana, I'm hoping, is going to be fairly brutal versus the opponent that mulligans to 5. And then I'm just going to ditch the forest here. And then next turn, if I draw a fetch, I can play fetch, discard the Kroxa, and I think that gets me to escaping. Yes, it does. Because I'll have 4 cards, and fetch would be 5. So lots of good draws next turn. Then, like, if they bolt the Liliana, I'll be sad because it takes it out of Edict range. But, I would love to be able to have the Liliana to kill the first thing, but if they've got Bolt as a leftover and only 1 card remaining, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. Maybe this is just Lurrus to hand. I guess not. Scourge. Okay, that is a 4/4. Bobble, sure. And that's their last card. So I'm assuming they're going to do the scry trick here. Or I guess at the end step they'll do it. Fetchland, please. Goyf is good too. I guess I'll just play my hand out. I can play Tarmogoyf, Shock, play Kroxa, Edict them. Looking good. So now I'm going to be able to escape Kroxa next turn no matter what, because even if I draw something, even if I draw a land, I could just plus it to the Liliana, which would be the 5th non-Kroxa card. Now if I draw like a Bloodbraid or something, I'll probably just cast it instead, because I would obviously like to cast Bloodbraid. But I mean, any creature here from them is not going to do it, because we've got the Liliana to kill the first one. Threat here would be annoying, but we still get to just play Kroxa. Hopefully their last card isn't exactly a push. Liliana is actually pretty interesting here. I think I will actually just play Liliana. I want to pressure the Lurrus. But, I mean, casting Kroxa might just be the right thing to do. Because like, if I cast Kroxa and they push that, they still take 3 from Kroxa and, like, 4 from the Goyf after I empty my yard. I guess I could just attack first and see what happens, huh? Yeah, let's just attack first, see what happens. I doubt they're playing like a spell bomb in the main, which would punish me. I think I want to just go for the Liliana. It's just the ultra conservative route. Like, I could see a world where if I, like, escape the Kroxa here and the opponent draws a push and then I can't kill them and then they can, like, draw another removal spell, that could be a game that I'm losing. But if I play Liliana here and I can start having them discard, they can't have removal spells for both at the same time. And it has an answer in play for whatever they could draw. I feel like this is the way that I definitely don't lose. Whereas if I cast the Kroxa, my opponent could get lucky. Okay. So, Jund's Shadow. I like the Spell Bombs versus the Lurrus plan. And the Engineer is interesting. I don't think I'm interested in anything else. Bad cards. I think, Shaving a Bolt. I'm definitely going to shave the Thoughtseizes. That might just be it, to be honest. Engineer is nice because it's got Death Touch and it can almost always trade. Also, like, it can make my Tarmogoyf bigger than theirs, but that hardly ever comes up. I think I'm just going to run this. They play lots of destroy-based removal, so I think Kolaghan's Command is going to be pretty good in the long game, but it's going to be pretty weak as a removal spell. Do I want to maybe trade a Kolaghan's Command for an Engineer, just because it could be a quote-unquote removal spell? Kolaghan's Command still kills Lurrus, so I mean, I guess that's a pretty big point in its favor. I think a lot of the times that I've lost versus Jund's Shadow, it's pretty much we were in a top deck war, but then they just had the Lurrus to like go over the top. So I think I'm just gonna keep in the extra Kolaghan's Command given that experience. Alright, well, since we're not playing Hearthstone, I have to ship this. Jeez. Why so temperamental, deck? Well, I guess it's my turn to mulligan to 5. I will keep this. Bottom of Kolaghan's Command and Kroxa, I think. Just keep my ways to kill a bunch of stuff. Keeping a redundant hand makes Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes from the opponent a little bit worse, I think. I would love to get Stomping Ground to complete the colors, but then if I draw a non-black land, I won't be able to cast Liliana. Inquisition, excellent draw. So they've got Shadow, Dismember, Swiftspear, Scourge. So, notably, when I fetch, that's going to turn the Scourge of the Skyclaves on. If I take the Monastery Swiftspear, the opponent can't actually get me below 20, which means their Scourge is going to be delayed. Alternatively, I could just take the Scourge. But I think I do want to delay their creatures because they have so many of them, you know. So let's just try to delay their creatures. Maybe just slow them down so I have time to get to the Lilianas. And I'm not gonna fetch because if I fetch and go to below 19, Scourge is turned on that way. So they can fetch Shock to 13, but that does not get them to Shadow. Alright, and again, just play this and go, say go. And Liliana is going to more than likely get cast the next turn. I could cast a Liliana and use the secret mode of don't plus it, because I am so low on cards, and I think second Liliana has a lot of value. So unless the card I draw next turn is something I really just don't intend on casting, I'm probably just going to Liliana not do anything. They could bolt it, which would be unfortunate. And yeah, not fetching here means that they can't actually play the Scourge yet unless they like want to bolt me or something. Alright, so do I want to fetch here? It turns Scourge on, but I think it's probably worth it if it means I can get a Liliana down and start working at hands. So let's get Stomping Ground here. I'll get Stomping Ground here because that makes Blackleaf Cliffs the best draw possible. If I draw Blackleaf Cliffs, I'll probably just discard the Bloodstained Mire. Alright, or I could just continue to draw Lilianas. If I Shock here, Scourge is a 4/4. I mean, Liliana kills it all the same, so let's just Shock. I'll get second red, second black, I believe. So Blood Crypt. And I think I will plus. I get to keep a Liliana. And it's also going to conceal some information, right? The opponent knows I've got another Liliana anyway, so the third one is pretty well hidden if I ever need to hide it. There goes Dismember. That makes some sense. So I'm assuming the opponent's ideal play this turn is going to be find a land, fetch shock, play a Scourge and the Shadow. So Spear is annoying. If they can play a spell, they can make me have the Liliana die after edicting the Swift Spear, but ideally the Liliana gets to stick around after edicting. And I will edict. I need to keep the board empty so edicts are more powerful. You got a spell? No, that's good. Land. Alright, well, let's just lead on Edict. And I think I should play the land, because if I draw Bloodbraid Elf, I'm going to really want to have the option to cast it. A consideration here was just play other Liliana and plus it immediately. So that way, like, if I find Bloodbraid or otherwise it's something to cast, I can Liliana Edict it and still have my mana to do whatever I draw. So maybe that, I think that's an alternate line that would be very reasonable. Yep. We've got a lot more resources than I do, unfortunately. Alright, well, I guess I'm just going to plus discard Blackleaf Cliffs, then play other Liliana and Edict. There goes a push. Alright, so I'm going to keep the new Liliana, obviously. Then Edict. Big draw steps coming up. Lands are really, really bad. And then if I can keep the opponent from playing another threat this turn, then Liliana is going to be charged up for another Edict. And it works. Unfortunately, we hit a land. So now if the opponent finds a way to pain themselves, they can play Shadow, but we've got an Edict in play. If they go double Shadow, not much I can do, but at least I'll get another use out of it. Veil of Summer, nice. Veil of Summer is still an interesting discard because they can still use it as a protection spell versus an Edict, even if I don't cast a black or blue spell. So that's got to mean the rest of their hand is pretty strong. Scourge. Yep. Alright. Removal would be really good, because I'd love to keep the Liliana and continue plussing. Ooh. That's good. Well, I do think I need to get the Liliana cashed in while it's good. And then I'm definitely going to play the Bob and hope they can't kill it. Dismember, I think, would be the worst case, because then they could also turn their Shadow on. They've used one already, so hopefully they don't just have another. If this Bob gets the trigger, I'll be very happy. Alright, well, Shadow turned online now. Returning Scourge. Yep. It's unfortunate. Land's not good, but at least this one cycles. Bloodbraid. Wow. My deck does not like me today. Stuck on 2 lands for 7 turns apiece in 2 different games, and then mulligan to 5 and then fled. Oof. Got him. Liliana number 4. Can I please draw spells? This is really getting old. Alright, I've had just about enough of this. That was absolutely absurd. Yeah, I think I'm keeping it the same. We get to be first. That is an advantage, though. We got a keeper. These Kolaghan's commands are looking a little bit bulky. This looks a lot like the hand that I got Mana Screwed games 1 and 3 of last match with. I had exactly Meyer and a Nurturing Peatland both times. Let's hope to not have it happen again. Come on, there we go. Yep. I would expect a Goyf to go here. It's Goyf for push. It's definitely not Kolaghan's command. I mean, maybe they're just concerned that this game was going to go long, and in that case, Kolaghan's command is going to be very good. But I mean, it's the card that I'm the farthest from casting effectively. Okay. Interesting take. Alright, we hit a land, but it's another painful one. Alright, let's just go ahead and cast the Tarmogoyf. It's out of bolt range, right? Yes, it is. And they didn't take the Glyph, so it's very reasonable they've got a removal spell. Plus your Dismember. Uh-huh. Push time. So I think I'm actually going to use this other Kolaghan's command. While it's unlikely the opponent can grow the Swift Spear, they could have Mutagenic Growth, which would be unfortunate. But I'm going to be able to buy the Tarmogoyf back as well. And then on the following turn, hopefully I can play Goyf and hold up a push. And them sacrificing the bubble now may indicate that they are actually playing Mutagenic Growth. Because they might want an additional look at it if they don't yet have it. Which also might just mean they don't have it. These lands are being really painful though. Decay is nice. But I still think I want to use my Kolaghan's command when I know it's going to actually kill something. Or hopefully actually kill something. So let's return a creature and 2 to a target. Return 2. No Mutagenic Growth, please. Cool. Goyphopotamus, yes. Notably, they have tapped out of green, indicating no Veil of Summer. Inquisition. I still think it's probably best to get the Goyf off the field while I know that they can't protect it. So let's cast the Fatal Push now, and then I'll just also play a Tarmogoyf. And these lands are being really rough. There's actually a good argument to just casting Inquisition, though, because it's pretty likely they just have another answer for the Tarmogoyf. And I still get to hold up a Spellbomb activation. So I think I'm going to try to take a removal spell here, especially while we know they don't have the Veil. They've got Shadow, Push, Kolaghan's command. Well, their hand is very good, unfortunately. Push is the thing that most handily deals with my own Tarmogoyf. So I think I'm going to take that. I've got the Decay for the Shadow, and I've got the Nile Spellbomb to make the Return to Creature mode not be very good. So I think I am just going to take the Push and then plan on cracking Spellbomb. And I might want to just do it now so they can't Kolaghan's command in response and buy something back. Yeah, I think I will do it now. And also, if I draw something like a Raging Ravine, I'm going to really wish I'd been able to play it now. The same goes for something like a Blackleaf Cliffs. Bloodbraid, not exactly that thing. These damn lands. They're going to be the end of me. Scourge is a really bad draw for me, because now they get to double threat. And I'm almost just forced to decay the Scourge. Land would be good, because then I could double spell. Alright, well, unfortunately that's not the case. I continue drawing very awkwardly. Alright, well I have to decay the Scourge, so I guess let's just do that. Oops. They've got the Kolaghan's command, just sweep it right back up to the hand, unfortunately. They might just, like, shock themselves or turn a Scourge. Make Shadow a 4/4. That's what I would do, at least. Terminate. It's not a land. So if I cast a Tarmogoyf here, I force myself to go down to 5. Which means that I have to chump this forever. So, I mean, I guess I'm casting Terminate. And I'll wait until the opponent casts their Kolaghan's command to make sure I don't get Veiled. Now they just don't cast Kolaghan's command. That's brave. Guess I'll do it hopefully before they draw the Veil. I mean, not casting Kolaghan's command could just indicate that they've got the Veil and they were just hoping to protect the thing in play. Luckily, that wasn't the case. Bye, Tarmogoyf. And then now the opponent could just put Lurrus into their hand. If I draw a land here, it's gonna be pretty painful to cast the stupid Bloodbraids. So if I Liliana plus, I'm going to 3, they can Kolaghan's me down to 1, then I can never tap a land again. I mean, it's my only play. I mean, these peatlands will still cycle, but it's unreal mana issues. This at least means that they can't buy back a creature, because they'll just immediately discard it. If I were them, might just shock me down to 2. Have me discard a card. Make me ditch everything. Shock Liliana. I guess that plays as well. What am I more likely to need here? I guess I want to keep the Kroxa, because I can plus Liliana and cast Kroxa to eat Lurrus from their hand, so I'll ditch the Bloodbraid. Oh yeah, this also makes me discard. I said that they would make me, that they should make me discard my hand, but then for whatever reason I forgot. I probably would have shocked May, because that turns peatlands off. Lurrus to hand, yep. I mean, I can cast Tarmogoyf going to 2. That's the plan. They'll discard whatever isn't Lurrus, then they'll play Lurrus into Death Shadow. I mean, if the opponent goes Lurrus into Shadow and I find an answer for either of the threats and can Edict the other, and then they draw a land, I can just kill them over 2 turns more than likely. So I mean, I'm not 0 to win this game, but doesn't feel great. Oh, I guess they can't actually cast a Shadow here, right? They don't have the requisite black. Hadn't considered that at first. Interesting that they just decided to play it anyway. Right? I mean, I guess I'm edicting this. Luckily, they didn't have Veil as their last card. Alright, I'm attacking. And then, end step, I guess I'll sacrifice a Peatland. It would be unreal to win this game. I still don't think we're a lock. Any creature complicates it. Goyf can block the Liliana once. Block for the Liliana once to hopefully load an Edict back up. Wow, we're still alive somehow. I mean, Bolt here would make it easy. Land is not a Bolt. Of course, we can't cast that. I mean, I guess I'm just going to sacrifice this Peatland too. I think 2 is probably the same as 1 as far as life totals are concerned. So I'll attack first. Because, like, if the opponent is going to push my Tarmogoyf, that can at least give me a little extra info on what I want to discard. Put you to 1 plus. And I guess I'll just ditch Bloodbraid. I just can't ever cast it. I guess not true. But if I ditch Bloodbraid, I'm definitely never casting it. So I think what I'll do is I will just ditch the Bloodbraid and play the Foothills. And then I can sacrifice the Peatlands at my opponent's end step. Or in response to like a burn spell if I really need to just top deck the Bolt immediately. Maybe I should just do it now, right? It's probably pretty free to do it now. Can I just draw a Bolt, please? I feel like I deserve it. After all the hell this deck has put me through. That's not the burn spell that I want. Alright, so we don't just die to a Swift Spear. We would go to 1. I mean, a Kolaghan's Command or a Bolt from the opponent would just have me dead here, unfortunately. But not much I can do about it. Wow. We somehow got this game. Okay. Jeez. I did not think I would be winning that game. I think I did about 14 points of damage to myself with my Peatlands and my Shocks. This is a keeper. They revealed Lurrus again. I guess I'll lead on Swamp so I can push something if I want to. I really want this to get Stomping Ground, which doesn't cast Fatal Push, so I'll just lead on the Swamp. And then probably cast Confidant on turn 2. Oh, unless they take it. It's looking like a rock of some kind. There goes the Bob. Yeah, Bob is so good in this matchup. It has to be. Alright, so I've got a Goyf 2 here. Liliana is a nice pickup, but again, I'm going to need to draw a land. Stomping Ground. Or even forgetting Overgrown Tomb here, so that way any land I draw untapped casts the Liliana. But I think the vast majority of my untapped lands cast Liliana anyway. It's just my my 2 non-basic swamp basics. Alright, so I expect a Liliana to be departing. I mean, push is very good versus them too, given Lurrus. Yeah, but Liliana seems like it's going to be, on average, pretty excellent. Alright, I think I'm just going to shoot this with the Bolt. Push is probably just going to kill a much wider range of stuff. This is giving them the information, but I'd rather be able to kill everything. What's up, Mom? How's it going? So please, please no Liliana of the Veil. That's actually, Liliana of the Veil is a consideration to just using a push there, because if they Liliana me, I can have the Bolt to finish off the Liliana. It's not a good exchange for me, but it's a lot better than letting a Liliana live. Oh, they can't have Liliana. They're companioning Lurrus. Ignore me. Liliana is not a possibility. Knight's Whisper. That's interesting. I wonder if it... No, they can't be playing Shadow. They're playing Blooming Marsh. Brutal. Land, please. Land, please. Land, land, land. Or Goyf or a Bob. What's up? I don't know how to... I don't know how you want me to pronounce that username. I'll just call you Stivum for now. We are in games. I think we are 5 for 7 now in missing land 3. Alright, Goyf is going to connect for 6 though. Alright, how about another one? We've got 2 lethal threats. Please don't pulse me. Stivum is fine. Oh my god, you've got the pulse. Wow. My deck does not like me today. We won a match though. There's the Lurrus. Play your bobble. Come on, deck. Need some help. That qualifies. Yeah, I still don't think we need the 24th land. In the games where I didn't hit the land, I just flooded instead. So, I mean, I think this is just the bad side of variance. I've been playing 23 lands for like 10-ish leagues in a row now, and it hasn't been an issue until this league. So I think chalking up some bad luck, just 2 matches in a row, would be a little, what's the word? Superstitious, I guess. Plus, ditch the Inquisition, and then just push both of their things. I'm trying to click on Inquisition. You've seen a few of the recent ones? That's cool. I would love to click this Inquisition, but for whatever reason, Alright, well now it's doing it. Alright, let's kill both of these things. Definitely killing Bob immediately. I could wait on Hexdrinker to see if they want to pump mana into it. I highly doubt they do, but it's worth waiting, I suppose. Yeah. Like I think this is just variance. Like this is a pretty rare. It's pretty rare to not hit the third land as often as I have just now. Like it just hasn't happened super recently, in the 50 other matches that I've played with 23 lands. Brutal. Well, we have the Liliana for the Goyf, but we've got a big draw step coming up. No bueno. Alright, we got to beat what they've got. I mean, we've got a lot of really good draws from this point. I was gonna say Kroxa, but not that anymore. We really just want to hit Bloodbraid. I mean, they are at 2. Even Kolaghan's Command or a Bolt will just take the W immediately. Yeah, Skoos would be bad, although they are nuking a lot of my creatures here. Alright, Bolt, Bloodbraid, Kolaghan's Command. That's I think 9 cards. Maybe 10 if I haven't used a Bolt yet. No, I have. So yeah, there are 9 cards. I guess we can just look. Kroxa would be good too, but there are 9 cards that immediately put them on the either the back foot or just put them dead. So let's hope to hit one of those 9. That is a land. Well, that's not very good, but I will cast it. They could just like have removal. Maybe I hold this, but if they've got disruption of their own, I'd rather be able to cast my Inquisition, and they do. So if I find a Planeswalker or like a Bloodbraid, I'm gonna want to take the thing that does not require Revolt, so I'll take the trophy. So they've got Thoughtseize and Push, and they have found the Goyf. Brutal. Can I just draw a Bolt, please? Thank you. They're not casting Thoughtseize. I doubt it. Alright, Rock. Playing Lurrus, the Spring and Spellbomb. That's about the only thing I'm super interested in. Plague Engineer is interesting because, again, it can make our glyphs bigger than theirs, and it's also got some cool anti-hex drinker things going for it. So maybe worth a consideration. And the opponent isn't playing red, so it's less likely it dies to a burn spell, and it's more likely it actually gets to trade off. Definitely want to take out as much discard as possible. Would like to even cut this last one. Maybe Brutality is just better. The opponent is playing Dark Confidant. We saw it. So, I mean, Brutality is going to be able to kill something relevant, if not just take a removal spell from the opponent's hand. I don't think it's worth playing more than one. I do definitely think it's better than this Inquisition, though. Wow, it's a lot of removal. I mean, we can get Blood Crypt, and we've got all of our mana, and we've got a threat, and we've got Bolt, which kills pretty much everything except for the Goyf. Guess I'll keep. It's funny, I've kept a starting hand with 3 of a single card more often than I think I've hit my 3rd land so far this league. Kind of funny. That will resolve. Spellbomb is an interesting hit. I should probably just cast it, and I'll do it off of Forest. I don't know that I need. Maybe like whatever I draw makes me want to get a non-Blood Crypt shock land. So I guess just waiting is correct, and I'll play the forest. It's probably gonna be Blood Crypt anyway, but who knows? Maybe I draw Blackleaf Cliffs and I can delay the decision or something. Scoos. All right. Well, that can get pushed. Or sorry, bolted. There's a Stomping Ground. All right. Well, I'm definitely getting black, and I guess I'll just get red as well. So let's just, I guess, get the shocking out of the way. And I can just wait, right? They can't Veil of Summer or Lightning Bolt because it's red. So yeah, I'll just pass. And then I'm not going to let this hit me. I'll still Fetch Shock Bolt it before damage. But like it's going to, whatever pre-combat decisions they make will be made with the assumption that maybe their thing is living. Blood Crypt. Zap. Hit it with lightning. Inquisition. Yep. So they've got an effective 4 cards in hand because remember they do have a bobble on delay. Taking a bolt. Oh, I guess they've just got another one. Sure. Interesting that they kept in the discard. I really prioritize, as you saw in the sideboarding, taking out the discard in these black-green mirrors. Or even black-red mirrors, for that matter. And then them taking bolts is pretty interesting to me. Kroxa is an interesting hit. Unfortunately, I only have a single black. I guess what I'll do here is I'll shock Stomping Ground, then play Tarmogoyf, hold up a Nile Spellbomb activation, and I think I will activate it at my opponent's next end step. I need to find more sticky action. Kroxa is nice, but I'm far from escaping it. I need to find the land for it. Like, they could easily have a push or something here, but I'm not really getting around it. Especially because, remember, I don't have Hand Disruption in the deck anymore. So I can't, like, wait to hope to pair it. Dark Confidant. Well, that is going to get decayed, and hopefully they don't have the Veil of Summer. If I decay it now, they may be able to get it back with Lurrus at some point. But I still don't have double black, so I think I still like digging for some action here. And I'm gonna hope they don't have a Veil of Summer. Bloodbraid is a good draw, but I can't cast it. I guess same rules apply. Now I'll lead on the decay here, try to add creature to the yard. Hope they don't have Veil. I can't wait until the opponent's end step. Sorry, until the opponent's upkeep and hope they don't have it, because then Bob still gets to trigger. So Veil would be a disaster here. Brutal. Alright, well I guess I'm going to attack. Yeah, I mean, Bob was a very it's a leftover that makes sense, especially because they were prioritizing taking my lightning bolts and leaving me with the decay, which gets countered by Veil. Ooze, yep. So what I need to happen now is I need to hit a land, and then I need the Bloodbraid to find something that kills Bob, or else this Bob is just gonna kill me. Alright, there's the land. Alright, we need a bolt, a push, a terminate. How about a Bob of my own? A little Bob on Bob action. Um, there are actually no creatures in the yard. I think I'm going to hang back and try to trade the Ooze for the Bloodbraid. This is much weaker to any removal spell. Oh, did they actually flip the Veil and I just didn't notice? They must have. Yeah, Veil is a stupid card. Little Bob Mirror going on in 2021. Darn it. I guess I'll get a Mountain. My hand is gonna be pretty red heavy. I guess it's only Liliana that would require a lot of black. Let's just get the Mountain. They're not going to attack with the Bob. If they attack with the Ooze, I can't block it because they just eat my Bob and grow. I'm feeling pretty dead to this thing. We've also still got Lurrus hanging out over here. It's an uphill battle. Need him to flip an Emrakul or something. Yeah, I'll go to 9. Unless you want to like play a Goyf or something. Uh-oh, that can't be good. Field, that doesn't particularly matter. Night's Whisper, yep. That card's good in the mirror. Alright, 1 mana removal would be really nutty here because then I could kill the Bob and have Bloodbraid. Alright, well I don't want to fetch basic with this because Field of Ruin, but if I'm fetching and shocking to be able to cast both of these, it has me going to 7, which is a lot lower than I wish. Guess I'll just lead on Bloodbraid and see what kind of action we can find. Would really like to kill this Dark Confidant somehow. Liliana. That kills something. Hopefully they don't have another Veil. Please no other Veil. Damn it. Feeling pretty dead. So there's 1 creature in the yard. If I attack both here, the opponent goes to 5. They might just want to block as a way to feed Scavenging Ooze. And them going to 5 with a Bob in play might get dangerous. Everything in their deck costs 2 and less, with the exception of whatever spells they may want to be having. I don't think I want to fetch Shock here. I need the life. We're going at Liliana. Going at Liliana is actually kind of curious because it's unlikely that Liliana is going to be able to get cashed in for anything else. Like, they've got Treetop Village already. They could have just put me to, like, 2, basically, if they wanted. Lurrus to hand. Lurrus to play. And they have Bobble to combo with it. Brutal. So now I need to kill the Lurrus. It's going to do another... It's going to do a Dark Confidant impression. Just want to... I mean, they're not actually going to see what I'm drawing because I do plan on fetching it away. Come on, deck. Yeah, draw all the cards in the world. This means I can Kroxa, flashback Kroxa. There's no way they block here, right? There's got to be, like, no way they block here. And then I guess I'll have them discard first without the information. Then I'm able to escape it. And I am going to exile my other creatures here to make sure they have as little food as possible. For the Scavenging Ooze, that is. So let's eat Bloodbraid, eat Dark Confidant. And then I guess the rest doesn't matter a whole lot. I guess I can eat Liliana to make potential Tarmogoyf smaller. And then the rest really doesn't matter. I mean, if they're somehow getting flooded, I can see a world where I can pull ahead. But like, even if they just activate Treetop here, I'm forced to block, take 6, go to 2, or they've got push. So I mean, as long as they activate Treetop, I die. Saw the line. Veil of Summer is really brutal. They have at least 2. Oh. Don't really see many changes I want to make. I guess there's a consideration to Cleansing Wildfire, because like we saw pretty much only the Treetop Village, but I mean 2 mana cycle seems worse than everything else. Let's go first. Please be a keeper. 3 lands with a Bob. That's all I want. This is acceptable. We've got an answer to the early Bob. Liliana's got to be one of the better cards in the matchup. Just Mire on 1 here. And I think I'm going to get probably a... It's kind of awkward. Maybe I should have Blood Crypted first. Because like if they play a... If they play the 1 mana 2/1, it gets awkward. And I kind of still want to get a Blood Crypt here because I want to play a Shockland tapped, and still be able to cast Bolt on like a Goyf or something if they play a Goyf as a 1/2. Ooh, we hit a Bob. That's strong. Do I just slam it and hope they don't have a push? Probably. Please no push. And again, I'm not playing any targeted discard, so it's harder to wait to pair it. If they have it, they have it. Hopefully they just play it at 2-drop here, and I can just Liliana it to the ground. Fatal Push. Sorry, Treetop Engineer. Treetop Village. I'm like looking at one card and thinking of another, and then like splicing the names. Alright, let's just play a Liliana. They've got the Treetop Village, but if they're using an entire turn to activate a Treetop Village, that feels like a mini victory. And then this will discard, I guess, just the Plague Engineer, to be honest. We've got plenty of ways to kill stuff. Plague Engineer just seems like it's the most fragile thing. They discarded a land, yep. It's a cool one. Don't know if anyone's played Gears of War, but the green side of that land reminds me of being inside the giant worm that was punching holes around Jacinto. They played Rain of Tears, destroy a land. Holy crap! What in the world? Well, I guess I'm far off of Bloodbraid now. Do I just ditch that and cast a Kroxa? I think I'm definitely plussing Liliana. I'll keep the Bolt. I want to keep the Kroxa. I think I'm casting the Kroxa here. It feels so funky discarding this Bloodbraid, though. I don't think I can do that. I think I do want the backup Liliana, though, if they have like a Decay or a Trophy for first Liliana. So it's definitely not Bolt, it's definitely not Liliana. It's one of these two. And Kroxa's the card I can actually cast, so as weird as it may sound, being 2 lands away from the Bloodbraid means being 2 lands off of the Bloodbraid means I think I'm just going to discard that. And like maybe I hold up the Bolt here, so if they try to attack Liliana with Treetop, I can Bolt it. But I think I like just using my mana. And like Bolt is going to be good for hitting Lurrus at some point. Really wild. I don't know why they have this in the deck and have a discard in the deck. I feel like they just like had too many things they wanted to take out and not enough to bring in. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't know if they're playing both. I mean, Reign of Tears hits basics, right? Whereas Fulminator does not. And they have the Pulse. Brutal. We drew a Bolt. Alright, well, hopefully their turn is activate Treetop Village attack. But given Luris, that doesn't seem like a wise play when they can just put Luris in their hand. I mean, they are kind of flooding, which is a point in my favor. Shocking. Is this like Luris to hand play a 2-drop? Alright, well, I'm going to bolt that. Get this thing out of here. So their last card is Luris. It's actually possible I should not have bolted that, right? Because now they get to play Luris and just replay it immediately. So that may have been an error. I mean, if I draw a land here, I can Liliana plus and defeat the Luris that way. But having mana issues again, unfortunately. I mean, they did kill my land, so... Alright, I do definitely have to kill that as opposed to killing Ooze. This gets to exile my Kroxa, not that it's going to matter anytime really soon. Untapped land here would be huge, because then I can Liliana onto an empty board. They do have the Treetop, so that much is unfortunate. I would still have to kill the Ooze before it, like, does a bunch of crap, though. Alright, how about another Liliana? Alright, I think we were, like, 40% to win, and then drawing this Liliana puts us at, like, 10% to win. Like, even if we deal with this, they still have the man land. And they drew Tarmogoyf. Yeah, we're dead. We drew pretty piss poor, and they drew pretty hot at the end. Bet you I draw a 4-drop. Alright, well, we found the Liliana finally. If I cast Liliana, Edict them, I still think I just die, unfortunately. They've got Treetop. They just need a threat to deal 5 damage after the Treetop, which, yeah, they can do with either of their things. They just have to eat a thing. Yeah. Like, I don't know that you were here for the first match that we played, Stivum, but games 1 and 3, I kept a very strong 2-land hand and, like, didn't see a land in the top 7. Both of the games. It was pretty aggravating. Yeah, I think I'm just getting kind of unlucky here. I mean, I had 3 lands that game. The opponent just, like, stone ringed me. Let's go first, please. They revealed Yorion. So what is this? Probably like Death and Taxes? I guess I keep. I guess it could be like 5-color Niv. My 2 guesses would be 5-color Niv and Death and Taxes. Those are the 2 that I believe most commonly companion Yorion. Take your vial on 1. Take your vial on 1. Alright, so is there any reason to hold up Terminate here? Probably. Good night, Mom. So they're gonna cast Stoneforge here, and I'll probably want to terminate it. So I guess I just shock. I mean, I would otherwise get. I don't want to get Blood Crypt. But I mean, I guess I could. I mean, I'm definitely terminating, so let's just shock this. I guess the opponent is maybe thinking about just playing this land tapped. We did shock, so maybe they don't want to play Stoneforge here, which would be funny. Alright, I'll wait until they make the decision and then I'll nuke this thing. Or I guess shoot it off a volcano. They got Sword of Feast and Famine. Yeah, sure. Would love for something to draw something to do. Alright, well, I guess I could cast that. Oh, that was a mistake. I needed to play my Bloodstained Mire there because they could play Archon, and I can't Revolt, and then curve into Bloodbraid. So that was bad. And I can't Bloodbraid with the Archon in play because I can't cast the Cascade spell. So that was me thinking a little too quick. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm taking the turn off to push this thing now. Jeez, brutal, brutal. That was really, really bad. I guess they could, in theory, have Restoration Angel. So I should do this now. Oh, it enters tapped, of course. Talk about punts. Definitely can't Bloodbraid here. Because I can't cast the thing. Yep. So I'm going to want to get a basic with the Bloodstained Mire, so that way it enters untapped. Jeez. Do I have to push that instead? I mean, I guess I could untap and figure that out after untapping. Another Mire. So the issue is that if the opponent finds a land, they get to sword equip and hit me. I think I just have to kill this this Archon. So I'll pay to ignore the tax. Like I can't Bloodbraid anyway. Because this would not be able to get a land. So I guess we'll ignore this. And then sacrifice this. And then while the tax is still down, maybe I just fetch now again. It turns off Revolt, unfortunately. think it's still probably worth getting around the tax. This game would be going much better had I played a different land 3 turns ago. Annoying. I guess they just like mimic the giver. Not good. Bloodbraid time, I suppose. Lightning bolt. I guess I kill a giver. Does it matter if I kill actual giver or the copy? I think I want to kill the copy, because if they Flicker Wisp, they can reset the copy to make it something else. And then, I guess I attack, because I can't really block. Thalia is annoying, but manageable. I need to find a way to deal with this giver, right? Is that good? It is, right? I can have my opponent discard their hands and escape it this turn. Yeah, that draw was pretty excellent, huh? Assuming I'm not missing something. Like, as long as I don't have a Path to Exile as one of the remaining cards, this should be good. Of course it's a Path. Still have to discard Sword, though, so I still get the cards out of their hand. If I find a spell off of Bloodbraid, I won't be able to cast it, but if I hit a creature, I will. I also just, like, need the blockers. So I'm hoping to hit, like, a Goyf or something here. Confidant counts. This is nice, too, because I've got creatures with different colors, so they can't, like, give something protection to attack past at least easily. This game is a lot closer than it should be. This should have been on the back foot a while ago. So if I double block, the opponent just gives it protection from one of the colors and then they kill the other thing. So I can't actually block. What if I triple block? I mean, they could still just give it pro red and then they kill the Bob. So there's no good block here, unfortunately. Gonna have to find a way to kill this giver. Alright. Yori in the hand. And then a way to kill that. I guess Kolaghan's command would be a pretty big rip. It's another Goyf. I guess I'm playing it. Do I attack? I feel like I do, right? Kind of have to. I don't just die. They can give something protection, but whenever they don't get protection, I just block. Yeah, this is an attack, I think. Like, they can block something, give it protection, but I can't block them anyway. And plus, like, them actually doing this is risky. There's no guarantee they actually do it. Because like, if I have any removal, I could blow them out. So I think their gamble is just paying off in this case. Goyf is big. So let's go to block. Doesn't matter really what I block, I don't think. They'll just give the other protection. Or, well, the one that I block protection, yeah. Yori in time. Yep, so they're just going to reset all their blocks. I mean, Giver is going to be summoning sick. Well, at least we revealed them in the right order. I guess I'm casting Bloodbraid. Gonna have to find my Terminate. Oh, it Terminate's in the yard already, actually. So I guess that's not an option. And there's nothing I can draw that targets this thing. It costs too much. Yorion, like, is out of decay range. That ain't gonna do it. They'd have to be bad and sacrifice Yorion here, which they're just never doing in a million years. Yeah, I think I should have won that game. All because I played the wrong land on turn 3. So let's bring in the engineers for things like Flicker Wisp and Thalia. You can name human. And then I guess maybe I want to play Brutality. It's kind of funny. If the opponent plays their Leon and Arbiter, Cleansing Wildfire could be a funny way to turn it back on them. Just like nuke their own land. That's kind of funny. I think I want to take out the majority of the discard spells for sure. Maybe even a Liliana since they go wide a good amount of the time. Bring in 2 Wildfires maybe. Brutality is also, I guess, reasonable because like you could take. I guess it's really only Path, which is the big concern, but it also kills most of the stuff in their deck. So I'm thinking Brutality is actually just better than Wildfire. Wildfire seems gimmicky. Yeah, Sand's excellent. We got turn 1 Inquisition to hopefully defend the turn 2 Bob, and then Bob should be very good. Take your turn 1 Vial, maybe? They do have a path. They got a lot of stuff. They got 2 paths, unfortunately. And they've got Arbiter and Thraben Inspector and Stoneforge. It's a tricky one. I don't think it's Mariner. Them having 2 paths makes me less inclined to take one. Arbiter is annoying but easily killable. I think I actually just want to take a path, to be honest. Like, I've already got a basic, and Arbiter is going to make them really powerful in general. And plus, if they path me to deny a trigger, I'm going to get to play Bloodbraid on turn 3. Alright, and they have Leon and Arbiter in their hands, so I'm going to get the fetch out of the way now. I'll get not Stomping Ground clearly, and I want to cast Blood Crypt painlessly next turn if I want, so this looks like Blood Crypt here. They also might just miss on land, which would be ideal. Not blocking, no way. Deal. Alright, not gonna get Forest because I want to be able to escape Kroxa. I guess I'll get Mountain. I've already got lots of black mana. Oh, they found the land anyway. Okay. Bloodbraid time. Yeah, it's blue-white taxes playing Yorion. Turn 3 Bloodbraid. Hitting Liliana of the Veil. Do we want to Edict a Thraben Inspector? Funny thing is, I'm pretty sure I actually do. Reason being is edicts tend to be better versus empty boards anyway, and I do plan on getting this Liliana charged back up. So let's just get the board empty. I doubt this is getting pathed. So like next turn they'll have Stoneforge or Unsettled Mariner or whatever. But I've got plenty of spot removal to deal with it, and then I can charge Liliana up again. I mean, Kroxa's going to be slated to be pretty powerful this matchup. There's the Stoneforge. So I'm going to do what I can to defend it. I mean, what I can isn't a very long... What I can do to defend it right now isn't a very long list, other than keeping on working away at the opponent's hand with the Liliana. Batter Ball. Yep. Blackleaf Cliffs. Well, I'll probably just discard that. And I guess I'll lead on the plus. I say it every time, but I'll say it again. I want the opponent to discard without the information of what I'm about to do next. which is probably just use the bolt. The Terminate's going to kill a wider range of stuff. Terminate does cost more. And I guess I'll Kroxa even now. Because again, I want the opponent to discard without information. Hopefully they don't have a third copy of Path to Exile in their 80 card deck. In their hand, I mean. From their 80 card deck. They discarded Arbiter. They discarded Mariner. So now let's... I guess I get to attack first, but there's no way they're blocking. Let's just bolt this thing and not be fancy. So I'm guaranteed to be able to escape Kroxa next turn if I choose to plus the Liliana, because that'll be my 5th non-Kroxa card in my yard. There are 2 turns at least, including this one off of Batterskull. 2 lands included. No, you didn't jinx it. I continued to draw pretty poorly though. It's funny, in the game 3 of match 2, I could have sworn I wasn't winning because I had 3 lands in play the entire game and 2 of them were my Nurturing Peatlands. And I like won at 2 life because my opponent used a Kolaghan's Command weirdly. Instead of shocking me, they like shocked a Liliana that didn't matter. Skyclave Apparition. Annoying. So, I mean, I guess this is just going to hit the Liliana, because otherwise the Liliana would hit it, and I'd get a 4/4. So, fetch land means I escape Kroxa. Otherwise, I'm just going to terminate this. That is not a fetch. And I guess I should just terminate, so that way the Bloodbraid actually gets to connect. And I'll play the land. I don't see a reason to hold it. Alright, so we've got a Kroxa on deck, 6 power in play, and the opponent is at 9. They can't Batterskull yet because they don't have the requisite lands. But yeah, this league has been full of just really strange mana situations. Flicker with my illusion. Brutal. You don't want to target your clue? You can get another clue, right? That's how that works. I don't think I want to fetch first. I mean, I guess I could. It's kind of free to pick a card that I want to keep in my yard. I mean, I guess I'll attack first so the opponent blocks or doesn't block without the information of what I've got in my hand. They should probably block. They're not. Wow. Alright, let's cast Kroxa, I guess. Get rid of all of this stuff. There goes Batterskull. I will play the land. If the opponent plays like a Leonin Arbiter, I'll maybe want to fetch in response. I doubt this game is coming down to a Leonin Arbiter, but it's pretty free to play around it. Alright, so they're in Abyss mode unless they can path this or Skyclave it. Skyclave would definitely be the worst case scenario here. And they're attacking. They've got to have another Skyclave, unfortunately. I mean, that's the next Skyclave is going to do a pretty good job at just completely messing me up. Oh, I guess that works too. Flicker Wisp? Sure, just I guess to untap it. And then this Flicker Wisp, I'm assuming, is going to go after Kroxa. And since it was not escaped, it's going to die, but I'll still get the trigger. I'll leave the Mire in play for if I draw Fatal Push, I can Revolt. Oh, that was good. What I should have said is I'm going to leave the Mire in play so the Bloodbraid that's on top can stay on top. Give me the Plague Engineer. That'd be hilarious. Alright, so rewarded. So let's cast this, target this, in response fetch. All right, and then we're forcing them to chump here and discard their last card. The last card in hand is a land, and you just die, but don't think it's a land the way they've been playing. Vile. Yep. It's kind of a land. It's a land that doesn't deal 3 when they discard it. Alright, so I mean, if they can deal with this Bloodbraid, we can't necessarily have a way to pull back ahead. Alright, well, we're going to get to Escape Kroxa, though. Because Bloodbraid is going to die off of the trade, and then we've got the fetch land. And then they've got no cards in hand, so this bolt is just the W. Kroxa's pretty good when you don't draw all 3 of them when you're stuck on 2 lands, turns out. Alright, yeah, I think I'm just gonna run it back. Maybe on the draw, I want to bring in the other removal spell, just because it may be important to kill all their stuff and then play the threats of my own. I could see that being a reasonable strategy. Just like take out another disruption spell that's terrible in the late game. It's one less thing to do on turn 1, but I still got 9 things to do on turn 1. That's a good amount of stuff. Yeah, we've got a 1-2-3 curve. This is a few too many. This is like one land too much for me. But it's hard to mulligan a 1-2-3 curve, and I'm gonna lead on a fetch here for sure, as a Leon and Arbiter consideration. All right, and they did also mulligan. So that's a point in my favor. Ooh, that's getting somewhere. Let's play a Mire, say go. And then this will likely get like an Overgrown Tomb probably. I don't want to get another Blood Crypt, I don't think. If I didn't have a Blood Crypt in hand, I'd probably just get a Blood Crypt, because if I draw a Bolt, I can cast it painlessly without shocking. Another Vial, yes. Interesting. Okay, okay. The plot thickens. I still think I want to fetch here as a Leon and Arbiter consideration. I don't think I'm ever fetching Basic Forest, so Verdant is the worst fetch. I'll use that one to cast a Tarmogoyf, getting Stomping Grounds. I can name Elemental for Wisp, or I can name Human for Thalia. Not getting a basic here, so it's between Stomping Ground and Blood Crypt anyway. I guess I still should just get Stomping Ground, because between Blood Crypt and Stomping Ground, I kind of complete the trifecta. This means I'm going to have to shock for Liliana next turn no matter what. Probably fine. Zam G. Geef, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Currently 1-2 in this league, but maybe pulling ahead in this third game. I found the land. How lucky. Alright, so I'm going to assume Leon and Arbiter is in the future. Bob is a good one. I really think I need to kill these givers before they start protecting each other. And unless the opponent has exactly the 2/2 that like has a bunch of modes and one of them is a Flicker Wisp type effect. As long as they don't have that, I'm going to be able to kill this giver. And then Bob is a good draw because it's something else I can do with my mana this turn. So maybe I want to play Mire first, because if the opponent, like, I think I'm going to get a basic as a life total consideration, because I want this Bob to be good, and I do need my life total to be high for it to do so. And if the opponent has like wants to flash in a Leon and Arbiter, I can pay for the tax and then just get basic Swamp in order to push. I won't be playing Bob in that case, but that's probably fine. So let's sacrifice here. Maybe they flash in response. They don't. Alright, still going to get a basic, I think. Cast a push. I don't want these protecting each other. They can't target themselves. Sure. Cool. I've got an attack for 3. This has pro green, so an attack actually doesn't do anything. So far, so good. Hopefully they can't vial something in at 2. And they didn't. That's big. I mean, they didn't have the 2-drop that does the Flicker Wisp thing, and they didn't respond to my fetch, so that read no Leon and Arbiter. So I guess the only thing that I was concerned about there is Athalia. Another vial. Excellent. Skyclave my Bob. Brutal. I mean, I'm going to get to Liliana minus. Hopefully they don't have a 2 to violin. They didn't at my end step last turn, so I don't know that they will again. And if I get to kill the giver, then my removal for the Skyclave is turned on, so I'm kind of happy with either dying. Sure. I don't think I'm attacking anyway because I want to defend the Liliana. Maybe I can load another Edict up. And I'll play the Ravine here clearly. Can't cast anything else anyway, and Ravine always comes in tapped, so pretty clear choice. That's a lot of vials. They should put one up to 5 so they can vial in Yorion at some point. That would be funny. I mean, what? They have 2 cards in hand. One of them is not a land. Maybe it's a path? Ooh, that's a good one. So I guess I lead on Liliana. Insect Zix. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just slamming the Bloodbraid here. And this Liliana is almost definitely just gonna... I'm plussing this Liliana. It's just a matter of what I'm discarding here. It's probably just the land. Just keep all the spells, really. So let's just lead here. Ditch the Blood Crypt. Celestial Purge. Okay. So I mean, if they can vial something in, okay. So they've baited me to using a card that I didn't need to use. All right. So I'm still pitching Blood Crypt here. Alright, is there any consideration to playing Goyf instead just because it's bigger? It's not bigger by much. Let's just cast the more expensive thing, I think. Maybe I can double spell next turn. And any removal here would be great. Even another threat would be great. That counts. If I kill Skyclave, I get a 2/2 back. The Spell Queller deals with that pretty handily. I think I'm actually just going to kill the Spell Queller here, because it makes my attacks much better. Yeah, and I'm assuming that this vial is going up to 5, so that would have actually been a reason to get rid of the Skyclave, right? Because if they draw land and put the Yorion into hand, they can Skyclave end step, which could be problematic. So maybe a misstep. Let's hope they draw the 4th vial. That'd be great for me. Giver. Giver's good too.
This room is humid.
Removal, please. That counts. So I could just escalate, discarding the Plague Engineer. Just so I can double spell here. Goyf is 3/4. This is 3/2. If I discard a creature that doesn't actually grow the Goyf, but I mean, draining them and killing a thing puts them to 12, and then this puts them to... I guess sorcery is new, right? Sorcery is new. So I can put them to 12, attack for 7, put you to 5 unless you block. And then any 2 of my 3 things are lethal, which feels good. And I'm definitely going to hit this so that way Yorion doesn't exile a thing. Does it change the clock at all to just not escalate? Like, I'll just kill the Skyclave and attack for 7? I mean, that still puts you to 7, which means any 2 things are lethal next turn. So I think I might actually just want to keep the Plague Engineer as a body. And I'll do this first so Goyf gets bigger. And then jam. And again, I'm going to wait on Goyf so they block or don't block without information. And then I can't get verdicted while the opponent only has 2 lands in play, so let's just extend. So luckily I didn't get punished by bolting the Spell Queller instead of the Skyclave. It's not conceivable I lose from the point where they can flicker the Skyclave in order to get rid of a Tarmogoyf. Because then they just have a 4 or 5 flyer that I have to deal with that I don't have an easy answer to immediately. Found another Tarmogoyf. Excellent. They've got a Vial at 2, 3, and 5. I think I'm just going to attack. I guess like I couldn't play Plague Engineer naming Elemental, so if they've got like a Flicker Wisp, they can't trade and kill this. But then they're still chumping and trading off. I guess actually they could give it protection. So it may actually be good to just proactively name Elemental in case they have exactly Flicker Wisp. If they Violent Athalia, I'm really not concerned. It's Flicker Wisp, which is like the main big deal, right? I guess they actually have the same kind of impact. Not true, because Flicker Wisp would effectively neutralize 2 attacks. So I kind of like actually just naming, I guess, what is it, Elemental? Let me double check. Flicker Wisp. Elemental, yeah. They'll still get the enter the battlefield trigger if they've got it. Opponent says GG's. Whew. Alright, 2 and 2. Trying to make the most of a fairly bad draws situation. The draws that game were fairly good. Compared to the other games that were way above average. We can still escape with the Jund 5-0, which is of course a 3-2. I think I'm keeping this. We're on the draw with 2 good spells we can cast. If we hit a land, our hand becomes excellent. I'm going to keep. Alright, maybe it's a mirror, maybe it's a shadow variant. They didn't reveal Lurrus though, so I'm thinking more likely a mirror. And I expect probably Inquisition to get taken here. Okay, maybe they just don't have removal then. Alright, well we bricked on land, unfortunately, but we've got another turn to hit it on curve. Well, it is a mirror, and the opponent's hand is terrible. I think I'll be a heavy favorite if I can hit a land here. Ideally a green source. Drew the 2-drop. Brutal. Land, please. How many times can I get unlucky? This was a risky hand. I'm aware. I think I'm just gonna bolt this thing twice, unfortunately. I still think I'm ahead if I can find the land sooner rather than later. Okay. Unfortunately, if they had something that cost 3 or less, they probably would have just casted it. So I guess I'll just throw another bolt here. I mean, Inquisition isn't getting much better. I guess in a top deck war later on, maybe I can hold the Inquisition to pair with something like this Tarmogoyf to make sure they don't have a push to kill it. So I guess there is some value to just holding it. And again, if they had something that cost 3 or less, they would have cast it. So I'm fairly confident this would brick. Of the 5 cards they have, we know 4 of them are lands. One of them is a Verdant that isn't listed here. Blightning. Alright, well I guess that's the reason to hold Inquisition. I guess I'll ditch the Kroxa as well. That's not standard. Pretty cool. Alright. Alright, land means we get to cast our Tarmogoyf here. And I do think it should be the Tarmogoyf, and it's definitely not going to be a basic because maybe I escape Kroxa soon. I could play Liliana, but I can't really plus it without ditching my Goyf. I don't want to ditch my Goyf. So they know of Liliana as my final card. Brutal. Please no Liliana. Alright, well that Inquisition unfortunately takes my Liliana. I mean, any untapped land here, I guess, other than basic forest, escapes the Kroxa. They had Fatal Push as well. Brutal. Well, that does not escape Kroxa, but it does so next turn. Yikes. I mean, we get to outsize that too. I mean, if they got a burn spell, we'll just die. I guess they have played that as well. So, I mean, short of drawing a Bloodbraid, I think I'm definitely just casting Kroxa here. Try to shrink the Goyf as much as possible. They've got Planeswalker Sorcery Instants. Let's get rid of Creature. I guess they somehow don't have a land. They've got... their last card's a fetch land, though. So removing land doesn't actually change anything. So yeah, I can't actually change anything other than creature. So I guess I'll leave Goyf for potential Kolaghan's commands. I don't want a... I'm not going to want a Bob at this stage, being at 5. Alright. Please draw dead, I guess. And we outsize the Goyf. They can't quite get past us as is. If they can just like hit a land here, I may be able to start climbing ahead. And then I don't think I can afford a fetching here, right? Because there actually is a difference between 5 and 4. That's they attack me and then Wrenn and 6 ping me dead. So I don't think I can fetch here, but fetching does enable a Ravine. Not like I can't actually attack with it though. I guess I'm just untapping. Push is nice. This is a 5/6. I guess I am attacking, and then if they set up a double block, I can kind of do it all. Taking the smack, yep. I guess I'll just pass. For all they know, I'm holding up block on Ravine, which would have them dead on the backswing, so like that could be my line in their head. I'll let them make the decision on how they're attacking first, and then I'll just push this thing. And hope they don't have a burn spell as their last card. Damn it, they drew the bolt. GG. I mean, I could have held back, which maybe would have been the safer thing to do, but that has me being susceptible to so much removal. Engineers over all of these crappy discard spells. Guess I'll just bring in a card that cantrips. Actually, I'll bring in a Brutality. There's a chance it kills something. Needed to dodge the burn spell. I did not. Because like if I hold the Kroxa back, I'm not actually pressuring them, so like they just have future draw steps to draw it. So I think an attack there is probably correct, as is a mulligan. Yeah, this is a good 6. Keep. I guess bottom Kroxa. It's unlikely that the Bob gets to live, so maybe for that reason I just bottom that. But Bob is so good, assuming it gets to live. The opponent has also mulligans. No, I think I'm gonna bottom the Kroxa and try to get the Bob to stick. Obviously, I'll go Spellbomb on 1 here. Yeah, Bob is a liability, and specifically the mirror because of Wrenn and 6. Goyf again. I guess I'll just lead on Goyf. Because I would love to lead on the Bob here, but if they've got the Wrenn and 6 is such a disaster. Let's do it. I'm gonna cross my fingers. If this lives, the upside is so high, and like the Goyf doesn't really pressure the Wrenn and 6 significantly anyway, and also at this stage, Tarmogoyf would just die to a bolt unless I'm willing to pop the Spellbomb for no value. And I'm pretty sure I want to get the card off of this, so I'm just gonna cross my fingers no Wrenn and 6. Like if this is a Goyf or a Bob, I'm like pretty great, pretty happy. But if this is the Wrenn and 6, I'm gonna feel bad. Bummer. Big bummer. Alright, well, I mean, land at least means I can bolt the Wrenn and 6 and deploy a Tarmogoyf, and now we hope they don't have Liliana. Liliana now is the worst case, because we'll just be completely out of stuff to do. Please, no Liliana. Don't have it all, please. Uh-oh. Yeah, I mean, this maybe could have been avoided had I Played Goyf on 1. Feels bad. Hopefully they can't kill this too. So I can at least attack their Liliana. And the Liliana is asymmetrical, which is at least a little nice. Goyf of your own, yeah. They should definitely plus. Discard Blightning. Sure. Alright, let's pop a Spell Bomb and try to find some action. Gonna need to find a way to deal with this Liliana or the Tarmogoyf. That counts. That's good too. Hopefully there's no Veil of Summer, although John usually doesn't play Veil because of Bloodbraid. They could have Push though. Push would be bad. Oh god, it worked. Alright, we somehow are ahead, I think. Liliana again. Unfortunate. I mean, if I find the land here, I may be able to activate Ravine in order to destroy the Liliana, but then I'm susceptible to Lightning Bolt, and that's dangerous. Do I just want to, like, play other Liliana, play Spell Bomb? I think I do. I could Liliana plus and then play Liliana plus that one too and discard the Spell Bomb, but this Raging Ravine is just going to nuke the Lilianas anyway. Feels not great. I think I'm just going to play the Liliana on a higher loyalty and try to draw the card off of the Spell Bomb. And then it's strange, like I don't know what I'm hoping the opponent draws here. Like it needs to be not an untapped land for the Ravine, it needs to be like not a good spell. They ditched the Tarmogoyf. The other card's gotta be good then. It's not Bloodbraid apparently. They would have played it last turn, I would guess. Alright, Blackleaf Cliffs is good for me. Is it actually Bloodbraid though? Can you hit like an Inquisition or something? Another Goyf? Goyf number 3? Yeah, almost came back. Yep, hit that. Brutal. Bolt can kill Liliana. It can also kill Bloodbraid if I need it to. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna lead on Spell Bomb. I mean, I guess I should Bolt first, right? Because then I can plus without needing to discard a card. So I guess what's more important to kill, Liliana or this Bloodbraid? It's got to be Liliana, right? Because if I draw a Goyf or something, I need it to be able to stick. Goyf, push. That's good. I guess I just pass. Like maybe they split the difference on attacks and I can keep the Liliana alive. If they sack that, they can't activate Ravine. They should probably just activate Ravine while I've got one random card in hand. Yeah, so I'm gonna hope they split the difference here on whether attacking. If they send like one thing at Liliana, maybe I can kill most things. Alright, that's at me. That's at Liliana. Alright, well they're splitting it in a way that I don't have Revolt and can't deal with it. So this is going to resolve. Alright, so this is at me. This is at Liliana. This is at me. I guess I have to kill the Goyf because I don't have Revolt. Bummer. Like if I had a Bolt here, I'd probably just save the Liliana and then Edict the other thing. You know, I've got some draws here. Like, Bloodbraid is obviously, like, the best case. Basic Swamp is not the best case. I guess my Raging Ravine is now blocking their Bloodbraid. An attack doesn't seem good. Jumping with the Ravine is not a good feeling, I will admit. So now I'm going to have to find an instant speed way to kill this Ravine. Watch this be the Bloodbraid. A little late on that, bud. I mean, it's still one random card, so unless they drew something really good to play, they should probably just gamble it. As opposed to, like, playing a Goyf or something. I discard a card. Or are they shocking me? It's discard a card. Alright, so I guess I'll throw the bolt upstairs. Yeah, if I were them, I'd have just gone for it. Like, even if I find removal, they're still pretty far ahead. Alright, I guess this makes it make sense. Or they bought this back. Oh, they bought back Bloodbraid. Okay. So, I guess Terminate means I'm still not dead. If they Bloodbraid me, I can terminate Tarmogoyf. Then I need to find an answer to Bloodbraid and the Ravine, which seems also unlikely. I'd have to, like, Bloodbraid into a way to kill the creature and then, like, be able to block and then find a way to kill the Ravine, so it's looking very unlikely, but not impossible. This makes it impossible. GG. Alright, lost the mirror. Alright, so we did not do the Jund 5-0, which is the 3-2. Let's do a quick deck tech for purposes of the recording. So we had really bad mana issues for, I think, at least a game in 3 of our matches, and at least 2 games in 2 of our matches. So I would like to attribute at least the match 1 and match 3 loss to mana issues. I've been playing 23 lands for Bobs for, I think, a total of like 10-ish leagues, and I've never had as bad a mana issue as I had this particular league. So I would like to say I just got the bad end of variance, but I mean it is possible I should play another land. The Kolaghan's commands were pretty clunky in a lot of spots, so maybe I should just go down on that and like bring back in something cheaper. I think Kolaghan's command is pretty well positioned right now, so I think 3 is definitely a good possibility. But I mean the 2 damage mode really doesn't kill a lot of creatures in the format, like against Shadow and stuff. Like, it tends to be pretty slow. Like, this is definitely an all-star versus stuff like Death and Taxes, Hammer Time, and any control deck, and any mirror. So, I mean, that's a wide range of stuff where Kolaghan's command is one of the best cards in the deck. But versus some of the more popular stuff, it just might be too ineffective or clunky. I still think 3 Crocuses is pretty good. There were a few games where drawing multiples was awkward, but those were also the games where I was stuck on 2 lands, like 9 cards deep into my deck. So I think again that might have just been the bad side of variance. But I mean it's kind of hard to tell. It might be I'm just not playing enough lands, but I mean 23 and 24 is not a very significant difference. And then like on top of that, like I mentioned, like I just haven't had this kind of mana issues. I haven't had these kinds of mana issues in matches this close to one another in a long time, and then we had three bad mana issue matches all in one league, so it felt pretty bad and discouraging. But I mean, I tried to make the best of a bad situation, still managed to get 2 wins regardless. So I mean, that's gonna be it for this league. If you're watching here on Twitch, you should definitely hit that follow button, and if you're watching on YouTube, you should definitely like and subscribe to this video for more content like this. So until next time, have a good one and Jund them out.